There from PC Crazy here at ANTEC Suit at Computex 2024, and this is definitely a big improvement from last year's Computex. And not only in boot, but we're talking about loads of cool products in general. We're talking about new cases, we're talking about new power supplies, quite interesting fans as well, because they do look kind of cool. And what else we have? Well, more cases, smaller ones, bigger ones, curved tempered glass, completely out of one piece, and we have a handheld. Yeah, it's a really cool handheld actually, and of course we're gonna take a look of literally everything that they have. So let's check it out. Okay, so let's start with one of the most impressive products from ANTEC's booth. First, I do have to say that the ANTEC suit, net boot suit, looks outstanding. Compared to last year, we have a complete transformation and a nice way of presenting their new outstanding products. So here, what you can see is the Core HS. We have it in black and white, and you also have it in pink over there. But let's go quickly through some specs. So we're having a 6-inch 1080p high brightness screen. We're talking about 100% sRGB color gamut coverage with 85% DCI P3, AMD Ryzen 7 7840U. There are two variations of storage, 16 gigs of RAM, 512 gigs of internal storage, or 32 gigs of RAM and 2 terabytes of storage. We're talking about LPDDR5X. M.2 2280 PCI Gen 4 supports up to single-sided 4 terabytes of storage. The cool thing about it is that, let's check it out. So you have a docking station right here. Check it out. You have a docking station right here. You can connect it with USB Type-C directly to the screen, to your monitor, whatever. You can connect mouse and a keyboard, and you can connect additional screens at the back because, let's check it out. You have input for micro SD, you have an input for SD card, you have two USBs at the back, you have USB Type-C, you have additional USB Type-C for charging, HDMI, and RJ45 connector. Quite easy, quite straightforward. At the top, we have another Type-C connection. Cooling is right here, and you can actually feel a bit of a heat since we have a game running on this one. Loads of buttons in general, but we'll get to the point of this Core HS during the review because I don't want to give you all the information right now because we have loads of cases to check out. Of course, in addition to that, you can get this accessories. We have carrying case, multi-dock station, 6-inch tempered glass screen protection, and performance thumbsticks. Quite interesting, quite cool. Really surprised, really impressed with the overall design. So without any further ado and talking about some performance stuff, we're going to leave it at that and leave it for the actual review. Now, right here we have something quite interesting. This is what I was talking about constantly. Curved glass out of one piece, constantly going from the front to the back. We're talking about C8 curve, and we have a bit of a wooden accent right here with the ANTEC logo imprinted inside, which looks nice. You already seen the review of the C8, but I'm quite curious how this, is there any differences compared to the regular C8? We have over there the aluminum white one. And comparing that one with the C8 curve, is there any differences inside? Now, let's go forward. We have Nova fans right here. These are PWM 120, 120, 25, fluid dynamic bearing. We're talking about possibility to adjust the speeds from low, medium, and high. The low goes from 300 to 1500, medium 350 to 2400, and high at 400 to 3200 RPMs. 50,000 hours lifespan at 40 degrees. So since you're running it most likely under that, it can definitely go much longer. And we're talking about 4-pin PWM. Now, next in line, we're talking about Tranquil 120 addressable RGB. Actually, the black ones look quite nice. I love the, let's stop this one to see the inner part. Has an ANTEC logo inside, as you can see. Quite nice rim around and does look quite effective. Fluid dynamic bearing on both, 120 times 120 times 25, and the speed goes from 100 to 2000 RPMs. CFM 64.02, 2.45 millimeters H2O, and 26.9 decibels when we're talking about a noise level. Next up, Tranquil 140 and 140 addressable RGB. Same thing when we were talking about the thickness, 25 millimeters, fluid dynamic bearing, and the speeds go up from 100 to 1500 RPMs, of course with increase on the airflow, air pressure, and fan noise level. Nova fans. Now these look quite nice, quite subtle. We're having something quite interesting here. Let's stop this one just to see the inner part. Nova logo around a bit, copper base in the middle, and we're talking about 120 times 120 times 25 fluid dynamic bearing. Also has the possibility to adjust the fan speed with a switch. 50,000 hours mean time before failure, but they look quite nice, and you get this. This is for the switch. Now this is much better, much more appreciated, because we're not talking here about a switch directly on the fans. This is on the side, so you don't have to remove the fans to adjust everything on the go. These ones are quite interesting because I really like the design in general, not because of the addressable RGB, even though it's all up to personal preferences. You know, I always go with a single color, but we have carbon look-alike design on the side. We have ANTEC logo right here, as you can see, and the inner part has the mirror effect. Then we're talking about orbit fans, adjustable RGB, 120, 120, 20, 8 millimeters, FDB, 2000 RPMs, 68.38 CFM, 31.6 decibels, 30,000 hours mean time before failure. Neo Prism T3, 120 addressable RGB and addressable RGB white. We already seen that. These are 30 millimeters fans, and then we have the same ones as in 140 design. Next in line, new CSK Pro ATX 3.1 and PCIe 5.1, 750, 850, and 1000 semi-modular power supply. GSK ATX 3.1, 850, and 750, fully modular. And then we go with something new, completely new in terms of the size as well. SFX 850X 80 Plus Gold with 3.1 standard and fully modular as well. And finally, the last of the lineup, we're talking about HCG Pro 1200, 1000, and 850 Pro Platinum, all of them ATX 3.1. The length is 160, fully modular, all of them 10 years warranty. And definitely something interesting if you're going with some high premium end components to power them up without any concern. One more interesting case is the Flux Pro. Now we're having also loads of wood accent here, nicely engraved ANTEC logo here. We have a screen right here, which, let's see. There we go. So it shows CPU and GPU temperature. We're having loads of space down here, huge radiator on top, huge radiator on front, and we're definitely going to look at this case a bit in more details when the time comes for the review. Quickly, what I can say, we're talking about 360 on the bottom as well, possibility to remove individual panels, good for the opening here, the fine mesh on the front, giving us a possibility to have much better intake when we're talking about the fans on the power supply shroud. And that's not all, because we're talking about the intake here as well on the other side. This is good. The case looks quite solid, and I'm quite impressed where this story is heading. As you saw earlier, we have the C8 silver white. Now we have the C8 wood. So I think it's the same story. Aluminium white, sorry, aluminium white. So we have here the same story, but with the wooden accent. Then we have the C8 curve, which I already shown you. And right here, we have the C7 addressable RGB, black and white. We don't have, unfortunately, white version here. But we're having a completely different approach when we're talking about ANTEC in general. We're having the I/O ports here on front, power on button, reset button, Type-C, 3.5 millimeter jack. This is a combo jack, 2 USB 3.0 most likely, because I don't see it with the coloring. We have a possibility to place the fans on top, loads of opening here on the sides, and we have 3 pre-installed reverse fans on the side, back connect for micro ATX and ATX, 140 on the side, 360, I think it's 420 at the top as well, but that we will check. And here we go, this is how it looks when it's assembled. Love the design, love the a bit of parts that are differently in general, and it definitely looks quite impressive. Loving the accent on the silver line, and the cool thing, if you want to clean it up a bit, this is it. So you just pop it out here on the side, place it back, that's it. Dust filter is clean, there's no problem whatsoever, so you're good to go. Then we're talking about the Flux Pro in white, and here we can see more inside. We have nice rubber grommets here, which are like really flappy, and this is really good because you can push the cables quite nicely at the back. At the top, we have openings if you're, since we're not talking about back connect, EPS cables, PWM cables, addressable RGB. All the cables can go here at the bottom, and you can see how the fans can be fixed and placed, giving you loads of options here at the bottom as well. Loads of space, and the cool thing about this case is that you can revert your power supply as you wish. As you can see, this is another option. Wow, how you can place the power supply instead of going it on the back side, which means that you have the cover here at the back, so you don't actually see anything, and the cables can be nicely rerouted, giving you a cool way of cable managing everything. Caddy for your hard drive. The screen is right here on the side, and altogether quite outstanding case. Really looking forward to this one, to check it out and to give you more insights about thermal benchmarks and all the other stuff. This is the regular flux, so you don't have so many options regarding the positions of the fans on the power supply shroud, similar stuff. But still a good looking case. I think this will be most likely in the budget range, giving you all guys a possibility to choose, because we're talking about a much smaller case here. And when we're talking about the specs, we're talking about EATX motherboard support, steel, plastic, wood materials, mid-tower chassis. On front, you could go with three 120mm fans, top at the same thing, rear, one 120 or one 140. Power supply shroud, you could go with two 120 or two 140. Included fans, three 120 PWM in the front and one PWM reverse on the power supply shroud, and one 140 at the back. Radiator support on front goes up to 420, and this comes to the point where the Flux Pro can accommodate two 420 radiators, one on front and one at the top. Quite outstanding. Of course, when you see my face, that doesn't mean it's going to end such a way. We had loads of cool stuff at ANTEC, and of course, Core HS is something that I didn't honestly expect, but definitely impressive, and I can't wait to get my hands on it, to check it out, test it out, and all the other stuff. But since ANTEC so far was doing power supplies, cases, fans, AIOs, and all the other stuff in that sense, I can't wait for the C8, for the Flux Pro. Oh, I totally forgot. Check this out. I totally forgot about Performance 1M, but this will be an SFF build, SFF case, which has actually quite nice space, and it looks quite outstanding because it has an option to slide the middle plate depending on the GPU, depending on the motherboard, depending on the cooler height, and quite impressive, I do have to say. Comes in two colors. They will see if this is something that you guys will be interested. So all in all, big thumbs up for ANTEC, big improvement from last year, and definitely they are getting the job done properly. So looking forward to the new products. Stay tuned. See you soon.